Hi guys, this is Igor from Adventurous Wine Merchant here in Walnut Creek, and it's time for the July Wine Club selections. Alright, so let me give you a brief overview about the fun selections we have this month. Kind of France and Italy dominates, especially the Adventurous Club from France. So let's start it there. For the white wines, we have two kind of unusual French white wines. So first one we'll start with Domaine Lapierre from Jurançon. So Jurançon is a region, it's a tiny region in southwest France, and it makes wines that are unique kind of to themselves. The three grapes in this blend is Petit Manseng, Gros Manseng, and Corbeau. Kind of unusual wines, and really I think that's really the only area that grows these grapes. Old vines, so the vines were all planted in like 1940s. And the area, it's funny, in the back of the label it gives actually a description that it came to fame, the Jurançon came to fame in 16th century because the wines were used to moisten the lips of Henry IV during his baptism. So that's their claim to fame. Right now it's kind of out of favor. You really see too many wines from this region, but the wine is really nice. It's very intense with like citrus and marmalade notes, and it has great tanginess. Even by the color, you kind of tell maybe it's like an orangish wine, not a classic orange wine, but kind of in that, kind of going in that realm. So if you guys never had wines from that region, I think this is a fantastic introduction. All right, the second wine, if you're in the White Wine Club selections, is another really cool wine. It's Jacquard, and this is from Savoy, which is in the French Alps. So another fun kind of history behind this region as well. So in the 1200s, there was a huge avalanche that covered the area with limestone rubble. And a couple of centuries later, they started planting vineyards in an area that was covered by the avalanche. And Jacquard became kind of the local indigenous variety there. So it's a great high acid grape. And it's a combination, I would say, like maybe somewhere between Sancerre and a dry Moselle Riesling. So if you guys had those wines, Sancerre is a Sauvignon Blanc, obviously high acidity, very beautiful wine. This comes from Uppermont, which is kind of considered the Grand Cru site for Jacquard grapes. So very cool. Once again, never had Jacquard grapes. This is, I think, a great summer wine that's introduction to this region and to this grape variety. All right, so these are the two white wines. Jacquard will also be in the mixed club along with Sangiovese. All right, so this comes from a really nice Brunello producer. Sassetti, they're known, like I just mentioned, for their Brunellos, but this wine comes from this kind of small area that's really, there's not too many examples of wines from this area. It's Montecucco, and it's located between Maremma, which is on the Tuscan coast, and Montalcino to the east. Small area, and the wine, it's there's like an extinct volcano, Monte Amiata. So it grows on the slopes of the extinct volcano, so it's a volcanic soil, which is very unusual for Sangiovese in Tuscany to grow a volcanic soil. Given this wine, the volcanic soil gives this wine kind of more of this kind of mineral grip and minerality, more intense than you typically find like in Chianti Classicos, for example. Yeah, and this is, I think, once again, a great introduction to Sangiovese. And one thing about Sangiovese, there's so many clones. Last time I read, there's over 250 clones of Sangiovese. So the most famous one is Sangiovese Grosso, used for Brunellos in Montalcino. This is actually Sangiovese de Maremma, more close to the Bulgarian coast. So Sangiovese grape, very similar to Sangiovese, but like I said, volcanic soils and a different clone makes it different than maybe some of the other examples of Sangiovese you had. But a great introduction to this particular area and this particular clone of Sangiovese. All right, so this is going to be part of the mixed club as well as the red selections only. The second wine in the red selections only, another fun wine. The area is very familiar, which is Bordeaux. The grape is familiar but completely unusual. So the wine is called Le Malbec, and you guys can probably guess by the name that it's 100% Malbec. So Malbec is one of the 5 original Bordeaux varieties. along with Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. But it's not used really, if it's used at all, it's used as a blending partner. So what happened is, I guess it was the Malbec grape was very popular pre-phylloxera, the disease that kind of hit the Bordeaux vineyards and destroys a lot of the vineyards. But what was happening is that it was susceptible, it was prone to disease. So even though it was popular, the vintners didn't like working with it. So after the phylloxera, when they were replanting a lot of the vineyards, they started replanting more with Cabernet and Merlot. So that's why those two grapes really dominate Bordeaux now. But this is a great example of 100% Malbec, and completely unusual and probably very hard to find. And you can kind of see the richness and the lushness of the Malbec grape in this example. So, you know, another fun variety for the Red Wine Club members. All right, and for the High Society Club members, fun stuff as well. Two classics, one from France, the first one, the Chateauneuf-du-Pape. Kind of doesn't get any more classic than that for a Grenache Syrah Mourvedre blend. So this is a 75, 15, 10 blend. Classic GSM. And you get all the power and the spiciness of the Chateauneuf-du-Pape. So, you know, I always like putting Chateauneuf-du-Pape in the club if I could fit it in. You know, great wine. I think a lot of people love Chateauneuf-du-Pape, so they get excited by the wine. It's a great wine. It's a great wine to you know, say it out loud. Chateauneuf-du-Pape. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. You can impress your friends with that one. All right, the second one, classic from Italy, Chianti Classico. In this example, it's Gran Selezione. So Gran Selezione is a recently invented category, and the idea is it's kind of in a pyramid structure. It's at the top of the pyramid. You have the Chianti Classico at the bottom, you have the Reservas higher, and then you have Gran Selezione at the top. So I think the idea behind this concept is that the rules are really strict. So with the stricter rules, you expect to get a better quality wine. I think it's still a work in progress. I know there's some detractors to this idea of you know, Gran Selezione. It seems like, you know, they kind of want to Grand Cru some of the vineyards and hike up the pricing. I haven't had that many examples, but this one, Stiel from Rocca di Castiglione, is pretty fantastic. From the vintage of the century, the 2016 vintage. So I think you guys will enjoy introduction to this Gran Selezione for this wine. So Chateauneuf-du-Pape and Chianti Classico for the high society. But I think all the wines are fun. If you guys you guys are not in the club, you probably should be. But if you want to try these wines, I have them all in stock, so you can you know, stop in the store or check out the website. All right, thank you guys. I'll talk to you next time.